Okay, so I'm doing an overnighter tonight. I didn't bring any steaks with me. I'm just going to have to make them. But basically, I'm going to do a plow point in the middle of my ridgeline. It's supposed to get into the low 20s tonight. We should be nice and comfortable with a fire going all night long. All I have with me is my 100% wool blanket. I've got my minus 33 base layers and a couple, insulated type layers. Like I've got this Wooby jacket, and then over top of that I have a windbreaking layer. And then I've got this Leicester River Bushcraft Boreal shirt. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Okay, so we've got all three corners of this bad boy pegged out. This is my favorite setup as far as wintertime goes besides a plow point. Just because, a plow point you kind of got to lay back in it. This you can lay all the way across it without any problems. I'm going to put a fire one full step away from the shelter and get that heat rolling back up in here. Another thing with this shelter too is we have this extra flap right here. We can actually put a stick in it in the ground and basically come out just like that to make ourselves a little bit of a roof if it's really raining. But for the most part, I just flip it back because it's not doing anything. It's not a huge deal. But you can also take this middle tie out in this Tent Smith's oilcloth tarp and stake it out on the back to lift the middle of that up. But there's not a whole lot of slack in this thing at all, so I'm not even really going to worry about it. So the plan is we're going to get our nice leaf bed in there, 4 to 6 inches of insulation that is compressed. That way we don't lose any body heat from conduction from the ground. No food for tonight. I brought some hot chocolate because I'm not a coffee drinker. I ate a massive meal before I came out here. Too, I'm trying to lose weight, so I had all of my calories in one meal today. So no food tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay, before anything else, I'm actually going to build a bucksaw. This is something I want to practice anyways. So I've got this saw blade wrapped up in this sniper's veil. That way it doesn't cut up anything in my pack. So if you watch my bow saw video from the other day, I definitely recommend keeping a couple key rings on this. I only have one key ring available to me. I don't feel like going to the store and picking up a bag of key rings. But with a bucksaw, it's a little bit different than a bow saw. It's more structurally sound. You have 2 uprights and a cross piece in the middle and a windlass on top to kind of tighten everything and pull everything together. It's a lot more complex. It takes a little bit more time to build, but it's also a lot stronger than a bow saw. Okay, so I ended up cutting a pretty long piece. That way I have an extra piece just in case I mess up, which is possible. Get all these little limbs off of it, and then we'll cut it into size. I'm not going to walk you through the whole process. I'm just going to kind of make it while you guys watch, and I will make one in a different video separate from this one. There's one upright, there's a second upright. I cut down one sapling, but you do want these as straight as possible. You can see this one's not very straight. So what I'll probably end up doing, I'll probably cut this portion right here off because I won't need the full length of these. Okay, so I've got my 2 log cabin notches carved into these 2 sticks right here. Now this one, we're going to take it, and we're just going to start trying to marry up these notches with this end by carving this end off. One thing I'm a little worried about, this tree was more than alive up to about right here. So you can see this is actually kind of dead. So I'm hoping that that doesn't just snap on me. Okay guys, so this right here is our bucksaw. So it's not the prettiest thing in the world. I didn't video the whole thing because I actually messed up a couple of times. You can see up here at the top where my other notches were, my brace was just a little bit too high up for the blade, and it was just really making it real wonky. But we can cut about a 5-6 inch piece of wood with this. You can see there's no racking up or down. We got 2 square notches, and then we just carved off the end of this middle brace, and then put a windlass on top that's keeping everything tight, so it's pushing out on the bottom, pushing our blade this way. I still have to whip the areas above the blade, but I'll do that later. I've got to get a fire going first. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It looks good. Like I said, there's not any racking to it. It's not crooked. I know it probably looks crooked in the camera, but this piece right here is actually kind of swooping down a little bit. So I just kind of had to work with what I had. But yeah, so this is a makeshift bucksaw from a saw blade. I don't know, 30-45 minutes till it gets completely dark in here. So I want to go ahead and get a fire going and get firewood for the night and get my leaf bed built up inside of my shelter. I know you're sleeping in here tonight with me, but still let me get my leaf bed built up, bro. You have to move, man. Okay, so I always keep this char tin inside of my haversack. All this has in it is a piece of flint, piece of fat wood, and a steel, and then a small Bic lighter and a ferrocerium rod. So, and a magnifying glass. Forgot about that. Where it is. Now, of course, if you have a high carbon steel knife, you can do this also. But basically what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of strike sparks down into our tin. I could use the spine of my knife for this also. Coming down here and just like that. But for traditional sake, we're just going to use the traditional flint and steel. You can see that char cloth is lit. Now we're just going to take it and put it into our tinder bundle. Okay, so we've got our fire going pretty good. Got our Pathfinder wool blanket out, ready to go. This thing's starting to sweat me out a little bit, so I'm gonna have to let it die down. It's only supposed to be about 25 tonight, so it's not gonna get super duper cold. But if I do get a little bit chilly, I can just throw my anorak on. I'm probably just gonna keep the fire up for a couple of hours, and then I'm just gonna let it die down and sleep that way. Got a nice thick debris bed underneath me. I got Ace with me. This is not my personal dog. I have a beagle. His name's Willie. But the county vocational school has a farm complex right out beside of our property. Our property pretty much surrounds it. So he's always running around. We pretty much take care of him besides the farm complex people. But he is a really good dog. Anytime I come out here to do an overnighter, he is always right here with me, and he sleeps with me all night long. Now this is smoothing it. Like I said, I'm not cooking any food tonight because I did not bring any out here. I ate before I came, and I'm actually still really full. I've been trying to lose some weight, so I basically just ate all of my calories in one meal today. So I won't eat again till probably about lunchtime tomorrow. I haven't drank a whole lot of water this evening. That's another big problem I have, is I don't drink a whole lot of water, and I really should. But I still have a full bottle, so we will be good for the night. Got our leaf bed up underneath of us here. It's smashed down a little bit, but we still have about 4 or 5 inches of insulation beneath us. Plus, I got this little guy right here. Probably gonna keep me warm all night long. Ain't that right, big guy? Huh? So now, let's just sit back and relax. I'm not gonna film too much in the dark, but we made our Bucksaw. That was one thing that I wanted to get accomplished before I went to bed tonight. We did not do a bow drill fire. The materials for the bow drill fire, they were just too wet. So I actually split the wood and I put it up against your cheek, and typically if it's cold it means it's pretty wet, but you could actually feel how tacky it was and the moisture in it, so it probably wouldn't have even worked. So we just used our Flint and steel set. The blanket I'm using is the Pathfinder 100% wool blanket. It's not near as thick as something like a Pendleton or a Hudson Bay or something like that, or a Wildy. I have used this for many overnighters. And like I said, I also have that big Leicester River Bushcraft anorak, and I also have my base layers on. So I'll be fine all night long. It's not supposed to get super cold. It's only supposed to get about 25 degrees, something like that. And when we're packing up tomorrow, we'll kind of go through the items that I used and what I brought with me. Hey guys, I'm gonna let this fire die down and probably hit the hay. It's about 8:30 right now. So I'll probably go to sleep about 9 o'clock, something like that, because I want to get up early tomorrow. So I'll let you know how this setup goes, and we will see you guys in the morning. Appreciate you watching. Hey there, big guy. Oh. Come on, man. You can't get that excited this early in the morning. You kept me warm last night, big guy. That's right. You're a good boy. You can run around and go chase some squirrels. I don't want to get up. Ouch. Why are you always so hyper in the mornings? Ouch. Oh my God. What? Did you hurt yourself? Well, it's a chilly night for sure. I let the fire burn down probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then just pretty much slept the rest of the night. I started to get a little bit chilly about 20-30 minutes ago, those early morning hour chills. This little dude kept me warm all night long. Didn't really need a fire, to be honest with you, because he was like a little heater. So he basically slept underneath this wool blanket with me all night, and he didn't even move. So he's basically like a wet rag. I had to actually move him a couple times to give me some more room, but he was super warm. I'm not real sure why he gets so excited in the mornings. It always pisses me off. So anytime I'm out here, as soon as we wake up, buddy, he's ready to get at it. Get my boots on, and I'm gonna get this fire going again and make some hot chocolate, because it is definitely cold right now for sure. So now I will say this: if you're going to sleep out in the cold like this, you need to be layered very well. I've got 3 layers on my legs, then I've got 4 layers on my top. So, and everything is merino wool for the most part, besides my brown shirt jacket, which you probably saw me wear yesterday. And underneath that, I've got my Wooby jacket, and then underneath that, I have a black merino wool shirt. I think it's from -33. And then for my bottom layers, I'm wearing -33 mid-weight long johns, or bottoms, or whatever you want to call them. And then above that, I've got a green polar. I think it's called a polar weight. Yeah, I think it's a polar weight. I'm sorry, no, heavyweight is what it is. Heavyweight's what it's called. I'm sorry, my mind's not. I'm not a morning person. So I got those heavy weights on, and then I've got these Carhartt pants on. So it was plenty warm for me. When I had the fire going last night, I actually kind of started to roast a little bit. So I let it die down, and I was warm up until probably, I don't know, what time is it? 7:15. So up until probably about 30 minutes ago or so. 30-40 minutes ago, just right before the sun was starting to come up. I started to get kind of chilly, so but I threw this anorak on before I went to bed, just because I figured I would need the extra layer. This thing is super warm. They're well worth the money. Yeah, this is the Leicester River Bushcraft Boreal shirt. Sorry, my mouth's not working. So I'm gonna get this fire going and get some hot chocolate on the go. Stay with me. Well guys, we had a successful overnight. Got a little bit chilly, but that's just kind of part of it. Like I said, I let the fire die down last night. Slept with just the wool blanket and the dog and my layers. It goes to show you right there, if you layer properly and you wear the proper clothes in the proper environment, you'll never be cold. You don't really need a whole lot of gear for an overnighter. You know, half the crap you take out there, you'll probably end up not using. I did not bring very much gear at all, and I still didn't use some of it. So this goes to show you that you don't need to pack everything that you have just for a single overnighter. You can get away with just a fire, a tarp, and a wool blanket. And it got down to 25 degrees last night, and I was perfectly fine. Now granted, I did have a dog with me, and he was like a little freaking heater, I tell you, man. But here he comes right now. Like I said, you don't need a whole lot as long as you're dressed properly and you know how to use the resources around you to create what you want. You'll never overstuff your bag. Now then again, if it's your first time going out, you're probably going to take more stuff than your 100th time going out because it all comes with experience. I've learned throughout, the years that I can get away with a wool blanket and a tarp when it gets down super cold. I have a high cold tolerance, I guess you could say. I get super hot really easy and really fast. So I love cold weather, and anybody that knows me knows I absolutely despise summertime. If it could be wintertime all year round, I would 100% do that. Yes, he's got a squirrel treed. I'm going to sit here and drink my hot chocolate, and then we will get camp packed up. So we packed up camp, going to leave the property, head back to my house. So that just goes to show you right there that you can cold weather camp in a wool blanket without a fire. What is important though is your layers. You need to have a good layering system. Your clothing needs to be really well built. So I was going to do a gear loadout in this video. I'm actually going to wait till later in the week. You'll be seeing this video this evening, which is Monday evening. If you want to see the gear that I carried and used, just stay tuned till the end of the week. I'll have that video posted up probably Saturday or Sunday. I'm Jake Trent with the Buckeye Bushcraft channel. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Buckeye_Bushcraft. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.